Welcome to the Globe Arena in Stockholm, Sweden for the final day's action of the Women's Artistic Gymnastic European Championships of 1994. For the next 2 hours we'll be focusing on the individual apparatus, and later on this evening from 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. Central European time for the final two apparatus finals. If you were with us yesterday, well, you would have witnessed a scintillating final of which Gina Gogian of Romania claimed their third gold medal of these European Championships, and keeping a very brave and strong challenge at bay from the two Russian girls, Svetlana Khorkina and, of course, Kochetkova. Both of those two youngsters claiming 2 silver medals in joint second position. Well, it's a different tactic for this afternoon's finals. Rather than all 4 points being added together for the all-around title, each apparatus is individually contended, and it really is a do or die. A little less pressure, one has to say, but many of the big stars from yesterday's competition competing in all 4 of the individual apparatus finals. There is Svetlana Khorkina, as each and every one of the gymnasts is allowed around about a 30-second warm-up period. A good crowd here, and it will be Khorkina that will get the action underway. Alongside myself, Nick Fellows, in the commentary box, Eurosport's resident expert, Monica Phelps, whose eagle eye will keep us pointing out each and every one of the mistakes, pluses and minuses throughout this afternoon's competition. Svetlana Khorkina for the vault final, with 8 qualifying from 106 starters at the beginning of these European Championships. Russia currently lying in second position in the European medal table with 3 silver medals. Romania still to be unbeaten with the European Junior Champion and the all-around Senior Champion, as well as Team Gold.
This an individual apparatus final, and therefore competition 3. So each of the 8 gymnasts has to produce 2 vaults, 2 different vaults from different groups. There are handspring groups and round-off groups most widely used, as well as the Sukahara groups, of course. And the gymnasts have to choose 1 from 2 different groups. Their mark then is averaged. Should they fall or run out and only produce 1 vault, then that would be divided by 2. And Khorkina's first vault, the Arab Spring entry, the flick-flack with the half turn, and then the Cuervo from the apparatus. That's a half twist into the back somersault. Once again, the round off, half twisting flick-flack, half twist from the hands into back somersault piked.
Well, the young 16-year-old who claimed the silver medal in this individual apparatus final in the World Championships in Brisbane, Australia, just over 3 weeks ago. And Khorkina was one of the surprises. She's backed that up with a silver medal in this European Championships. And her first score, 9.812. As we saw in yesterday's all-around competition, the 2 vault scores averaged to give the scoring.
Landing not too good. I'm just waiting for the slow motion, because I said 2 different vaults had to be performed, and I'm sure that she performed the same. No, I missed the handspring entry. There, the handspring entry, so it's a Cuervo. I just glanced down at my book away from the monitor. So the same end to the vault, exactly the same end, but a different entrance. So the handspring entry, the half turn from the top, and the Cuervo, but not a 10 tariff.
Well, Svetlana sets the pace for Russia, and it was runner-up to Gina Gogian in yesterday's all-around competition, as it was in this individual apparatus in the World Championships. 9.749 is her score. Well, I don't think she'll be too happy with that, because it was a 9.850 in the all-around competition yesterday, so certainly not the best that we've seen from Khorkina, as she sets the early pace for the other 7 finalists to better. Russia continue, the 15-year-old from Moscow, Oksana Fabrichinova. this the first of 3 finals that Oksana has qualified for in these individual apparatus. And closing day's competition to these European Championships. And Fabricianova, well, finished the all-around competition yesterday down in 7th position and scored 9.749, which would put her in joint first position if she could repeat that with her teammate Korkina. But one feels that Fabricianova, with a little less pressure upon her, has the ability, one of the new young rising stars of the Russian squad that claimed silver in the team competition. She certainly has got a good chance now to steal the lead away from Korkina.
But of course, this is totally a different ball game than the all-around event when only one vault has to be produced. Here we see the true vaulters. And despite Oksana being a very tiny little girl, extremely fast, and whilst Korkina was elegant, vaulting obviously not her thing because she's not a powerful gymnast. Fabricianova, more powerful, shorter. And there the Yurchenko with 1.5 twists. So here we have the entrance, which is the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring, or the round off onto the board, the flick-flack onto the horse, then 1.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists. And this, one of the most difficult vaults, comes into the 10 tariff, and not anchoring the landing. Now we have some great vaulters in the final because we have Podkopayeva, who's a particularly powerful vaulter. We've got Lusak coming in, placing the injured Kalinina.
9.837. She's on target to take first position. And it's worth noting that Fabricianova won a bronze medal in the individual apparatus in the beam. So we'll certainly look forward to seeing Oksana challenging in that set of medals. But she needs the same scoring again if she's to take first position.
Well, a good second vault. As a second vault, but not particularly well landed, and only a 9.9 tariff. We're really looking for the gold medalists to get 2 10 tariff vaults and land them. And I think that we could see that in the form of possibly Pishkun or Podkopayeva, the real vaulters, the more chunky gymnasts, but built for power. Nevertheless, that's a nice vault. Handspring, 1.5, Barani out, but 3 steps backwards, so she should lose 3/10 on the landing. So really that would take that vault down beneath 9.6. 1, 2, well, 2. There we see the side view, the handspring 1.5, the half twist, not managing to extend before hitting the floor, which is 1 penalty, then the step back.
9.712, and quite rightly pointed out by our expert in the box here, penalised for the lack of balance on the landing of the second vault. She goes into second position, but one feels that there is yet to be a gymnast to put their mark or make their mark on this first of the 4 individual finals. But this lady certainly is in sparkling form and has every reason to do just that. Gina Gosian, the 16-year-old who claimed gold in yesterday's all-around competition. So often the bridesmaid, she's been second in just about every major competition. But yesterday was Gina's day, her first major championship gold medal. And there's a good shot of some very important magnesium carbonate to keep those feet nice and dry. Gosian, an opportunity to claim a further 4 gold medals today.
Yes, interesting that the gymnasts sometimes put chalk on their feet before they put their foot in the shoe, because the inside of the shoe has like a plastic lining, and as they take off for the vault, their foot slips inside the shoe, and this is when they can really hurt their toes on takeoff.
The 1994 European all-around champion in her bid to claim her first of a possible 4 golds.
And a bad landing. And to take the gold, we're looking for good landings. Although the quality, of course, of the vault determines whether or not the landing is going to be still. Often it's because the landings are blind. Here we see the vault, the Arab Spring in, the flick-flack, and then 1.5 twists in the 1.5 somersaults. But in fact, not a good landing, it's a bad landing. again, easily 2/10 gone.
Well, it's a worthy note that 9.812 was good enough to give Gina Gosian the World Championship title in this individual apparatus 3 weeks ago in Brisbane, Australia. But one feels that the standards have already started to improve and get even more difficult and technical. And Gina will require something quite special. 9.837 were the total scores from her all-around challenge, and 9.800, she's on target, but again we'll need something very special to keep Milicevic and Pisquin at bay, still to vault.
But again, a very generous mark, because she travelled on the landing, and not only forwards but to the side, which indicated that as she struck the floor she was still in twisting mode. And the judges don't do themselves any favours. There, the Cuervo vault, which is the handspring, and it's 1.5 somersaults and a half twist, but the half twist takes place before the somersault action, and it was rather low. Unfortunately, that definitely won't be good enough. I won't eat my words this time. That won't be good enough to bring a good score, Nick. Not a high 9.8. It won't. I won't see anything going into the 9.9s with the result of those two vaults. But again, a long vault. This is something that on a monitor it's very, very difficult to assess, because the quality of a vault isn't just the landing, it's the distance travelled. And on TV, that is quite difficult to assess. Not a beautiful shape. She had still a little bit of a pike on her entrance onto the apparatus.
But 9.775 is certainly good enough for first position after 3 competitors. But 9.775 is nowhere near the total scoring, or average score, I should say, that brought her gold in Brisbane and also brought her the all-around title yesterday. 9.837 and 9.812 were the two different scores for her last 2 major competitions. Therefore, the competition, in our mind here in the commentary box, has been thrown wide open. Gosian leads from Svetlana Korkina of Russia. Oksana Fabryshinova is lying in 3rd position. And this youngster from the Ukraine, Lilia Podkopayeva, certainly has the ability. The question is whether she has the nerve to put the European champion behind her and steal the lead, and possibly put the pressure on Lavinia Milicevic and the 2 French youngsters still to come.
Well, I think Podkopayeva is, by virtue of her shape and power, is a particularly world-class vaulter, but I don't think she's got 2:10 tariff vaults. So much power, and she just misuses it. She really didn't have the right angle from the top of the apparatus to harness the power and give it length rather than somersault. But just look at this beautiful run, lovely acceleration, with such ease. And this called the Hrystakieva vault, which is from the Yurchenko family, or the round-off family. There's the Arab spring, or the round-off, the flick-flack, and then a half twist, and then the front somersault straight. But it really has to be, it's very, very difficult to twist and rotate without digging the movement down. See how her heels come in towards the horse on the landing, and as her feet hit, the transfer of momentum causes her shoulders to drag her body forwards.
9.750, well, on target to go into 2nd position, but again we were expecting something of a little higher quality than we've witnessed so far.
The 2nd vault, I think it'll be 9.9. It's a lovely vault. It's lovely, even though it's a 10th down on tariff. It's really beautifully executed. The landing isn't quite still, but I think it's one of the nicest handspring 1.5s that I've seen performed from a female gymnast. That really is a beautiful shape and grand extension. Just a pity that she didn't nail the landing. There, the handspring entry. The 1.5 somersault. Notice there the twist takes place in the 2nd half of the somersault, not like the Cuervo, which takes place in the 1st half.
First position, 9.787. It's very close, but she's still stolen the lead away from the European champion. 8.25 for that second vault.
And considering that the tariff of the previous vault was 9.9, to score 9.825 out of the 9.9 just shows what potential Podkopieva has as a vaulter. Given that that could have been a 10 tariff vault, it would have put her at 9.925. Splendid.
Podkopieva takes the lead for the Ukraine, with Gina Gosian of Romania finding herself now in the silver medal position. Svetlana Korkina for Russia, the first performer, is now lying in that bronze medal, but 9.787. And if we bear in mind that we saw 3 sets of 9.8 in yesterday's all-around competition, it indicates to us here in the commentary box that there is possibly much better performances to come. And the next performer, the 17-year-old from Romania, looking to continue that nation's incredible run of gold medals. Every competition so far in these European Championships, the gold has gone Romania's way. Lavinia Milicevic, the Olympic champion in this discipline. She's no stranger to world-class competition. And Lavinia from Diva, at 17 years of age, had a very disappointing all-around competition. She blew it right on the first apparatus for her, the asymmetric bars, and literally fought her way from 19th position to end her challenge in 6th spot. She'll be looking to make amends, and as will number 7 there, Jelena Piskun.
And in this apparatus final, it's a slightly different format than perhaps some of our purists are used to. There are currently 2 competitions taking place: the beam final, I believe, and the vault final. Although it should be the asymmetric bars, I thought I saw the girls working beam. But it looks as though the gymnasts are divided into 2 groups. So those who are not competing in the 2 finals have been in the first section. But we have 2 warm-up situations, you see. So there are 2 groups taking part.
Also, it's good to see Elodie Lusak, who replaces Natalia Kalinina from the Ukraine as the reserve. Natalia Kalinina was a little ill overnight and unable to take her only final. Lavinia Milicevic there, well, she can possibly sense with an awful lot of experience that there is an opportunity to dominate this vault final. She's entered in all 4 of these apparatus finales, but she'll have to do something very special with Jelena Piskun and also Conqueto of France. Very impressive in yesterday's all-around competition. The 15-year-old born in Paris, now based at the Marseille club. And then Elodie Lusak, the European junior champion of a year ago. And if you were with us in Brisbane, well, you'd have seen Elodie take that terrible fall in her warm-up for the floor exercise. And hopefully we'll get a close-up of Elodie's face to see just how her broken nose is just starting to mend its way back to full strength. Well, the warm-up period, and I have to say it's a good ruling. Splitting it into 2 groups of 4. Remember, only 8 finalists allowed to compete in each of the individual apparatus. There is Elodie Lusak there, tiny thing, 15 years of age. Whilst the gymnasts prepare, the warm-up comes to... Well, we'll take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with the second part of this vault final.
Quand on a les jours, on a toujours les soirs.
Well, you rejoin us with the slow motion of Lavinia Milicevic, the Olympic vault champion, start to her challenge to try and take the lead away from the Ukrainian Lilia Podkopieva, and she's right on target, 9.850. The 2 vault scores added together and averaged, but Milicevic so disappointed with her performance yesterday. This could be the first of a possible 4 golds for her.
And if anybody can stick a landing, Lavinia can. Oh, just a little bit short. First vault for Kristofieva with the round-off entry and half twist into the straight front somersault. Second vault, the Cuervo, but second vault only a 9-9 tariff. Looking for 2 10 tariffs, really. There, the half turn and the Barani, but not quite managing to nail the landing. The Barani phase, which is the half twist out of the somersault. Now, she didn't quite have enough extension, so when she hit the floor, she was folded at the hips, and that caused her shoulders to tip forwards. But quite a nice plant, nice shape in the air, but the hip angle just didn't open on the half twist, and that would have prevented her having a dodgy landing.
9.800 is good enough to change the leaderboard once again. Lavinia Milicevic, the Olympic champion in this apparatus, takes first position. Now Lilia Podkopayeva for the Ukraine is lying in second, and teammate of Milicevic, Gina Gozhian, is in third spot. The competition by no means over. This very talented Yelena Puiskin from Belarus, Bobruisk, coached by Viktor Kolodinsky. And Yelena really does enjoy and excel in the vault.
In the preliminary competition to this event, which was the team competition, and in the all-around, she produced a double twisting Yurchenko. And if she was to produce a good double twisting Yurchenko and a second 10 tariff, we could see the leaderboard change totally. And double twisting Yurchenko. A little bit late in wrapping that second twist. Perhaps not the best she's produced, but good enough to draw even or perhaps pip Milisevic's first vault. Good lift. 2 twists. But a little split in the legs on the landing. But very little to choose between Pichkun and Milicevic on that first vault. So who is in the lead after this gymnast will depend very much on Pichkun's second vault.
And it's looking very much a repeat of the 1993 Worlds in Birmingham. 9.850, she's on target, and it was in Birmingham in 93 that Puiskin took the gold at the world title and pushed Milicevic into silver medal.
Well, very, very little to choose between them. It could, if anything, be a tie, because there the vault was similar, the tariff was the same, 9-9. Handspring, 1.5, half twist. Let's just examine the landing, see if we can glean any more marks from one than the other. Where one was under-rotated, the other one a little bit over-rotated, or gives the effect of being over-rotated. Brought her feet under and fell backwards. But one would need to be right beside the vault to judge the merits of the height and length, to make a real correct assessment.
.800. Oh, she's just outside. 9.793. She goes into the silver medal position. And a sweet victory for or revenge, I should say, for Lavinia Milicevic for that World Championship battle in Birmingham just a year ago. Milicevic from Pichkun, Podkopayeva in the bronze medal position. 2 challenges from France now. Certainly one of the rising stars in the world of artistic gymnastics. 4th position in the team competition. Young 15-year-old from Paris, Cécile Conqueto. Cécile, 9th position in the all-around competition.
And very powerful, despite being slender and only weighing 38 kilos. She is extremely powerful. Li Shuang from China, along with Xi Mao, coach the two, well, indeed the whole French camp, but the 2 French girls who are here today. And the French have a splendid system of reward for the gymnasts. Now that the amateur days are gone, with hard work, they can really do themselves and their bank balance quite a favour. Canqueteur to vault. This is the first of the two. And that plopped in very nicely indeed. Judging by the mark on the mat, not quite as long as some we've seen, but certainly solid and very well judged off the top of the apparatus. Round off entry. Flick-flack onto the top. Half turn and straight front. Khrystakieva, the innovator of the vault. There we see it again, the half turn and the straight front. And very well judged. A little hop on the landing. But notice from this slow motion action how she's just under straight, hitting the floor at the correct angle. For me, that's one of the best vaults. 9.775.
Well, that's on target for a bronze medal. Now, Cécile Conqueteau for France. If she can pull off something of a slightly higher tariff in this second vault, could bring home a European Championship medal to Paris.
Of course, the French did very well in the junior section of the European Championships. The 14 and under section, where they got a silver medal in the all-around event. But not to manage. She won't get into the medals. That's a Sukahara Paikht down to the C category vaults, and really needing to be in the D and D category vaults to get into the medals. But at 15, in a major European Championship, being able to produce two different vaults is very good. But just notice how close she is to the apparatus when she lands. That's indicative of weak vaulting. At the Sukahara, the half on, and the 1.5 somersaults off Paikht, but not managing to create a lot of distance or generate a lot of power from the top.
Well, that's the only final that Cécile has qualified for, but, well, a very pleasing debut to the senior ranks, and goes into 7th position, 9.468, a PB for the youngster from Paris, and also I'm sure her and her coaches will be happy. She will improve and gain in confidence and experience from that performance. Well, there is one final jumper to go, or vaulter as I should say, which is Cécile's teammate Elodie Lussac. Now Elodie being brought in here as the reserve. She's also in the beam final, just 15 years of age, from Marseille, the European junior champion a year ago in Geneva, now finds herself with the senior ranks, and certainly a youngster that caught the eye in Brisbane. Oh, that terrible fall where she broke her nose, and you can still see there to the right of her face the swelling on the cheekbone. Well, 3 weeks ago this lady was full of tears, and now a very brave return to the European Championships.
And she could actually creep into the medals, because we didn't see a lot of her at the Worlds. Oh, yes. I was just about to say, from the Junior European, where she took the overall title last year, a year older, muscularly more dense than she was, and therefore more powerful. But really aggressive. Just look at that. The vibration of the run must still hurt that injury. And here, a nice full twisting Yurchenko. But tariff a disadvantage, of course. There, the one twist, and then lining out very nicely. But only 9.9 tariff, not in the 10 tariff band.
Well, 9.687. But 3 weeks after serious injury, she really is back with full confidence and focus. And there you can see the bloodshot eye. Watched very closely. And Monica, it's interesting that the two Chinese coaches who now look after the French girls really do play a hands-on role.
Oh, very much so. They're very, very intense. But I think that they're paid according to their results. Oh dear, that's put her out of the medal shots, but perhaps Lusac is just only too pleased. You see, she doesn't look particularly disappointed. She's just pleased to get her feet onto the podium and compete, because it was a nasty injury. She lost 2 teeth, broke her nose and her cheekbone. And the belief, because that's quite out of character for her to land so short on the vault, which is relatively simple. It's a 9/8 tariff, handspring 1.5 front tuck, and she's not at all perturbed, just pleased to be there.
A tough little competitor, and definitely worthy of a note in your books, your pads, for one to follow, a name for the future. Elodie Lusac goes into 8th position, 9.318, stepped in at the last moment as reserve. She'd only planned to do one piece of apparatus as part of her return from injury, and that's a very pleasing score and a very pleasing return to the international ranks of artistic gymnastics. It means that the gold medal, the first of the 4 to be decided this afternoon and this evening live on Eurosport, has gone to Lavinia Milicevic, finally getting revenge after her disappointment yesterday. Puiskin gets silver. Podkopayeva of the Ukraine claims the bronze. Gosian, gold yesterday in the first of her 4 opportunities. Well, it's 4th position. Korkina, Fabrichinova, and then the 2 French girls in 7th and 8th position, Conqueto and Elodie Lusac. Lavinia Milicevic, well, a sweet revenge possibly on the World Championships of 1993, when Puiskin pushed her into silver medal position. And of course, the first of a possible 4 gold medals to Milicevic, who was so bitterly disappointed with her performance in that coveted all-around competition yesterday. Podkopayeva, she's also in all 4 of the finals and could be one of the big surprises of these individual apparatus. 9.787. Certainly not the best scores that we've seen at these European Championships over the vault, but possibly the nerves starting to play on some of these young ladies. We'll take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with the second of the 4 apparatus from the Globe Arena in Stockholm, the host to the 1994 European Artistic Gymnastic Championships.